The Miuras Mouse. Could this be the greatest pike fishing lure of all time? Join me as I go through the history and success of this iconic lure, including all the details from its inventor, Maurizio Carini, and the gentlemen who made it famous, Pierre Monjarret and Stefan Trumstedt. Hi everyone, my name is Pip Himstra, and welcome back to another video here at kanalgratis.nl. I made this video in Dutch a while back as well, but I realized that there is so much interesting information here for the English-speaking fishermen as well, so I decided to make it in English too. If you're Dutch and looking for the Dutch-speaking version, you can find the link in the description. In this video, I'm going to cover everything about the Miuras Mouse. What it is, how to fish it, how it became so incredibly famous, and I'm going to finish off by showing you some of the most incredible pike ever caught on this lure. I think at this point, a lot of you already know what the Miuras Mouse is. But for those of you who don't, let me just give you a quick breakdown. Basically, the Miuras Mouse is a pike fishing lure made of two main parts. First of all, we have the head. The head is made of cork with a lot of bucktail or deer hair attached to it. And then we have the tail, which is basically any type of soft lure that you want. Because you can attach any type of soft lure to it, the variations on this lure are endless. But we're going to get into that more later. The Miuras Mouse was invented by Maurizio Carini around 2010. And at this time, Maurizio was a fishing guide in Ireland. Because he was a guide, he fished a lot. And so he also ran into a problem that all the lures at that point on the market didn't fix.
In many situations, the fishing was very difficult because in many areas in the Irish water, there's a big layer of vegetation.
Okay.
So many commercial lures don't use full.
Because there's too much vegetation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are not useful to fish in 40, 15 centimeters of water because they don't like top water bay.
That problem, plus Maurizio's creativity, led to something completely new. Something that would change European pike fishing forever.
One afternoon,
Okay.
I found the solution. So use the cork covered by bucktail to use with soft lures. I noticed at the time that the lure stay more time in the spot zone and can retrieve with the slow velocity of the reel, and the pike reacted very well to this approach.
Okay.
And this is the start of the invention.
One day, while cleaning, he spotted a wine cork, and somehow that inspired him. He decided to take the wine cork and wrap a whole bunch of bucktail around it with tying thread. Tying thread is normally used for tying flies for fly fishing. He attached a hook to it and a single grub, and the first prototype of the Miuras Mouse was born. That same day, he made a couple casts into his nearby river with this new lure, and on the second cast, it was crushed by a big pike which came out of the weeds to take it. Enthusiastically, he went back to his lodge and talked to his colleagues and showed them the lure, because it had worked. While they were initially skeptical, they found it interesting and called it a mouse. And in the months after that, he spent some time refining the lure slowly, making it better, making changes, and he and his colleagues were using it more and more. And it quickly became clear that while the Miuras Mouse had initially been created for the shallow water fishing applications, it was a really deadly lure in deep water situations as well. The brand CVC, or Catch with Care, is one of the biggest names in sport fishing. And I think many of you, when you think of Catch with Care, you think of this name, Pierre Monjarret. Pierre Monjarret is a pike fishing icon, and he catches big pike very, very often. Around this time, which was 2010-ish, 2012, he was actually working at the same lodge that Maurizio was working at as well. And because of that, he was very, very early in using the Miuras Mouse.
We worked together for some guiding in Ireland, and of course he gave me the opportunity to test the bait on the Irish lakes. And yeah, obviously when the first time I saw this bait, I was like, yeah, it was a bit strange bait, you know. I was like, you know, it's not something normal that you see at the time, especially like 12, 13 years ago. So it was not normal to see that kind of bait with a lot of bobtail.
Back then, fishing was already insane, because the fishing pressure generally was a lot lower. But with the Miuras Mouse, the fishing was just incredible. The very first white Miuras Mouse was actually made specifically for Pierre by Maurizio as well.
That day we had actually a crazy fishing wave. I remember it was with Thomas Fisher from Stockholm, and we had 27 fish over 90 and 6 over 1 meter that day. And it was all on that white mouse. You start to get like an addiction. You really want to cast this and you forget about all the rest, you know. So of course after that we start to use a lot that color also, that this become the ice cream after with Catch with Care. And it's still, I think, one of the most selling color of the mouse.
So he was one of the first ones to actually get to try this lure. And because of that, he had effects on the slow development of this lure as well.
I was using at the time the double tail from another brand. I was using this actually at the time on the back of the wolf tail. I don't know if you remember that one from Catch with Care.
Yeah.
It was like a tail bait from Catch with Care. So I was using this. When I see the mouse, I say, oh, I need to put that double tail on the back. That could be crazy. So I changed a little bit the rigging to be able to put the double tail, so I put the shallow screw on the back, and I put the double tail there. And I tried it, and it was crazy because you could fish so slow with the double tail that with a single tail, you need a little bit of speed. But with the double tail, you could fish like extremely slow. And yeah, it was so effective. So after that, we're just using only double tail on the back.
While the Miuras Mouse was very popular among insiders, it wasn't until 2019 that the Miuras Mouse blew up all across Europe. And this is where Stefan Trumstedt comes in. Stefan Trumstedt is a European fishing legend, and he is also in charge of a lot of the product development which goes on at Catch with Care. Because of that, we have him to thank for what happened with the Miuras Mouse as well. The first time that he fished the Miuras Mouse, he was with Pierre in Ireland fishing for just a weekend.
You know, I went to Ireland to fish with Pierre, and when I came there, the weather was quite tough. It was really windy and hard condition. But we went out fishing anyway, and we put big drift socks and parachutes to slow down the drifts, but it was kind of speed drifting anyway.
So the weather was bad, but the interesting thing is how that translated into the fishing that weekend.
You know, I couldn't feel anything, even if I fish with giant pig shad or some guppies or buster jerk. It's really hard to feel the speed of the bait when you're drifting too fast. But, Miuras Mouse, Pierre convinced me it was a good one, and he started fishing with that when we were drifting quite fast. And he said to me, yeah, but doesn't matter that we're drifting fast, because you feel the bait so good. Even if we're drifting fast, I can fish it on the perfect, speed. That weekend, nearly all the fish was caught on the Miuras Mouse.
Luckily for all of us, Truman knew that this was something different. He realized that there was potential here.
And I have been in the tackle business for so many years, 30 years. I have seen so much bait, so much new trends and so on. So I was thinking, this is something new. This is something that actually is not like the other things on the market.
Yeah, it's very different.
So that's how the story starts with Miuras Mouse and Catch with Care.
So that's where it all started. But still, taking a lure which is being handmade by one Italian guy somewhere in Ireland and getting it into mass production is not an easy task, not even for a guy like Truman.
Yeah, but then I contact Mr. Maurizio and we get friends, we talk a lot, and I said, how many baits do you do? I do this and I can't keep up. And we did a collaboration. The Miuras Mouse that we, Catch with Care, is selling is made exactly on the same way that Maurizio do in Italy. Yeah, it was very difficult. We did a big movie when Mr. Maurizio was tying the head and so on, and he's like an artist, so he really wanted perfect, different layers, right glue, everything should be right. It took some time to make it happen, but with a little bit of luck and hard work, I think we have a good product, and people is asking for Miuras Mouse from all over the world now. That's really cool.
So these are definitely some of the reasons behind the relatively high price tag on the Miuras Mouse. But then it also makes a little bit more sense why it is so expensive and why it is such an amazing lure. So all of these developments were happening around 2018, which is when the Miuras Mouse was first used properly on camera during the filming of Fly vs. Jerk 10. Pierre Monjarret and Stefan Trumstedt were fishing this tournament for Team Catch with Care. And that is when the Miuras Mouse started gaining its fame.
Okay, welcome to the final day of this crazy competition. Now is the river time, so we're quite exciting about that day. Yeah. I think it's going to be good, I feel it. During the tournament, Pierre had only 2 Miuras Mouse with him, a black one and a white one. And during this tournament, he had this feeling that the Miuras Mouse could be absolutely deadly, partially because the Miuras Mouse had never before been used on those spots. And he was right. In the final episode of Fly vs. Jerk 10, Pierre Monjarret caught a 127 centimeter, 13.9 kilo pike on the Miuras Mouse, which was at that point a new tournament record.
Yeah, good. Nice one.
No.
No?
I don't think so, but could be. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice fish. Good.
Doesn't feel that heavy, but yeah, it's a good fish.
Yeah. Oof, it's a really big one. Up. It's a super fish.
Holy shit. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm born ready, my friend.
Oh my earth, man. Come on. Let it.
Yeah. Yes!
Woo! That's the one we're looking for.
That's the fish.
That's a 10 kilo. It's a big fish, man. Ooh. Miuras Mouse, boom. No joke with this bait. Oh, I'm shaking, man. Look at this. Look at this beast.
It's the fish.
Look at this giant.
Yeah. Pierre.
Oh, wait. I'm so tough the last few days. Oh, man.
Perfect.
Oh. Look at this giant.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Don't lose it.
Okay.
Okay. So let's have a look at her. The big mama.
Now that is an unreal pike caught by Pierre Monjarret on the Miuras Mouse. give a big round of applause for the biggest pike ever caught in the history of fly versus jerk.
And not long after, Truman also caught a 114 centimeter, 10.6 kilo pike on the Miuras Mouse as well, securing the win for Team Catch with Care in Fly vs. Jerk 10.
You ever? 100 and
114.
114, yeah.
Good, good, good.
Super
114. What amazing fish. Look at the color. 10.6, 114 centimeters. Super nice. That put her back.
Since Fly vs. Jerk is always filmed a few months in advance to the release, Pierre and Truman had to rush the production of the first Miuras Mouse to get them to the sport fishing fair in Sweden on time for the final episode of Fly vs. Jerk. Luckily, they were successful. On March 29th, 2019, the final episode of Fly vs. Jerk 10 was showed before a live audience at Sportfiskemässan in Stockholm. Because of this, every single Miuras Mouse that had been brought to the fair was sold practically instantly. And because of that, big pike started to be caught everywhere on the Miuras Mouse. The Miuras Mouse quickly became one of the most sold pike fishing lures in all of Europe. And despite the relatively high price tag, it sold and sold and sold. I tried to get my hands on the official sales figures of the lure, but I was unsuccessful. However, reliable sources do indicate that the Miuras Mouse on its own has caused millions of euros of sales. Since 2019, the Miuras Mouse has really taken off. And at this point, almost every serious pike angler has at least a couple of these in their tackle box. But now the question, what makes this lure so special? And just why does it work so well? When talking about the Miuras Mouse, the real standout feature is the head. That's the unique part. The front of the Miuras Mouse is large and flat, and because of that, it pushes a lot of water. If you have never fished a Miuras Mouse before, it will surprise you how hard this lure pulls on your rod. Because of that, the Miuras Mouse is very unique in how you can fish it. If you fish it from a boat, for example, even during really bad weather, high winds, or just bad drifts, it's very easy to still stay in contact with this lure when no other lure would be able to do that. And that is all because of the resistance that this lure brings. The bucktail on the head itself is light and hollow. And because of that, the lure sinks very slowly, especially when you compare it to other lures. Because of that, you can fish it at very, very low speeds, more so than any other lure, meaning that you can trigger pike in even the most difficult of conditions. The Miuras Mouse pulsates beautifully as you pull it through the water. And with the standard twin tail on it, it has a nice large profile that can be observed by pike from a large distance. Thanks to all of these features, the Miuras Mouse has caught countless trophy pike since it hit the market in 2019. Strike Pro has since released the Miuras Mouse in many different colors, as well as 3 different sizes. The original success of the Miuras Mouse was the original, which is 23 centimeters and 90 grams. But later, Strike Pro also introduced the Miuras Mouse Mini, which is 21 centimeters and 40 grams. And later also the Magnum at 29 centimeters and 120 grams. Those weights refer to the lure when it's dry, like this one, because when it gets wet, the deer hair will actually absorb some water, making the lure a little bit heavier still. Though there are many color options of this lure, some of the most popular are still spotted bullhead and ice cream, partially due to their natural color patterns. I asked Pierre what his personal favorite combination of Miuras Mouse colors is, tail and head, and this is what he said.
It's definitely the white and the spotted bullhead shad. It's white because it's the most constant color in any water. If I have to pick one, maybe in Ireland, maybe it would be another one, but I've been fishing quite few lakes around and different places, a lot of places in Sweden, in Finland, and a little bit everywhere. And this one is the most constant color. It's so effective. The combination between white and the spotted bullhead, a little bit like brown, gold, and yeah, it's just so effective. Why? I have no idea, but it works and doesn't matter the condition. If I had to pick one color, definitely that one.
Another reason why the Miuras Mouse is so popular is its versatility. Because you can attach any type of soft lure to the back that you could possibly want. It has a sort of shallow screw attachment behind the head, and because of that you can screw on whatever soft lure you want. Or even, in some cases, you can attach another Miuras Mouse behind the first Miuras Mouse. If you've been watching Fly vs. Jerk for some time, for example, you might have seen that not only Team CVC uses the Miuras Mouse. Practically every team that participates in this tournament will sometimes use the Miuras Mouse because it's so effective. And they often use it with all these different types of trailers behind it. A very good example of this is Team Gator, the now 3-time Fly vs. Jerk champions. In the past, they've used the Miuras Mouse very successfully in combination with the Gator Catfish and with the Gator Gum. In this example, they even attached 2 Miuras Mouse back to back, followed by a Gator Gum, creating a lure of over 50 centimeters. And also then, it catches big pike.
Oh look!
Är det så?
Big one! Big one!
Är det så?
Big one! I think so, big one!
Is it?
Oh. Yes!
Release
big
it.
is so big. But it's a good fish. Go back.
And now here are a few tips straight from Pierre Monjarret on how to fish the Miuras Mouse successfully.
In my opinion, that bait is all about the speed.
Okay.
It's the speed that you give to the bait, but of course the speed depends of a lot of different situations. So, and depends on which mouse also you use. If you use a double mouse, if you use a single mouse with a curly tail, you need to find the right speed for each combination of mouse. And that's in my opinion the key to succeed with that bait. It's just to understand of each mouse. If you put this shad or that shad, they won't sing the same, they won't swim the same. So you need to just understand how the bait move and just to find the right speed.
Okay. And then you're saying you're talking about the speed, but then what is the goal for the speed? Like, are you trying to fish it as close to the structure as possible, or is it really about the speed that gives the lure the action?
I think, in my opinion, it's better to have it, I can see in many situations, it's better to have it high as possible on the water. Not try to go close to the bottom, or because that bait is such a big profile, so it's much more effective to have it high on the water. But that's if you fish on deep water. After, if you fish on width, imagine you have 3 meters of water and you have like 2 meters of weed, or 3 meters if you have only maybe 1 meter space between the weed and the surface. The best sometimes when it's thick weed is to be able to touch the weed time to time and just to pull it, just to so the fish can feel the bait and so and detect the bait easier. So it's really good to touch the grass and give some like big strike over the grass and move the grass and swim the bait quite fast and pull again, and so it depends on the situation.
The success of the Miuras Mouse has not gone unnoticed, And by now, CVC is not the only brand which has a lure like it. One more well-known alternative is the VMC mustache rig. While it's quite similar in concept, it still also has its own unique features that set it apart from the Miuras Mouse as well. While the Miuras Mouse is sold as an entire lure with a body and a head, the mustache rig is sold as just a head that you can attach to any soft lure that you want. It comes in 3 different sizes, and it also comes in an extra shallow version for when fishing shallow waters. While a Miuras Mouse Mini, such as this one, will set you back around 35 euros, the VMC mustache rig only costs about 15. While with the VMC mustache rig you would still have to buy some hooks and some split rings and a soft bait to go behind it, the VMC mustache rig is still a more affordable alternative to the Miuras Mouse. Even though the Miuras Mouse is no longer completely unique on the sport fishing market, it still remains iconic and the most well-known. It has revolutionized pike fishing, and its incredible effectiveness has made it a must-have lure for pike anglers everywhere. Since its release, the Miuras Mouse has been responsible for countless trophy pike. And here are 3 examples of some of the most impressive pike that this lure has ever delivered. First off, we have this 120 centimeter pike caught by Andreas Sager, a young tournament angler from the Catch with Care fishing team. While 120 centimeters is already a very impressive pike, the truly impressive number here is the weight, 15.1 kilos. An absolutely incredible weight for a pike at that length. Then let's move on to something crazier still. In 2020, Andre Naumann caught this 136 centimeter pike. It was 19.1 kilos, and he caught it on the Miuras Mouse in the ice cream color. A pike like this is the dream of every single pike fisherman out there. But for most of that is all it will ever be. Just a dream. And finally, the iconic moment that cemented the Miuras Mouse place in pike fishing history, when Pierre Monjarret caught the 127 centimeter pike in Fly vs. Jerk 10. A moment that I have rewatched and rewatched countless times, and that will be engraved in my memory forever. I want to give a huge thanks to Stefan Trumstedt, Pierre Monjarret, and the creator of this amazing lure, Maurizio Carini, for their time and all of these details that they gave me in the interviews. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know what you want to see next time. Drop all your comments and suggestions below. See you next time at kanalgratis.nl.